Story sent by ugly_idiot. Thank you for sharing your story. Anyways, story time about how my dad kicked me out when I was just 11 years old. So I lived with my dad and I did not live with my mom because she cheated on my dad and they were divorced and stuff. Anyways, my dad would usually invite lots of different women over and did the you know what with them. I was so tired of him doing it so often, but at the age of 10 I finally gained the confidence to confront him. He then slapped me but also decided to give me another chance, but I disliked it so much that I continued to yell at him. He finally was sick of me and kicked me out, so I had to move in with my grandma.
Story time on how me and my stepdad were doing the nasty and my mom walked in on us. Okay, so boom. I was 18 at the time and my stepdad was 40. My stepdad been with my mom for like 2 years and it's only the 3 of us in the house. My stepdad always treated me well and gave me lots of money. Every time my mom would tell me no, here comes my stepdad to the rescue, turning that to a yes. Me and my stepdad were alone together a lot and it would be very flirty between us. As the days went by, we got flirtier and flirtier and farther. It started off as flirting, then we cuddled, and then cuddling turned into making out. I literally couldn't wait till my mom goes to work so I could spend time with him. My mom didn't suspect a thing. When my mom was home, I barely talked to my stepdad and I always stayed in my room. At this point, me and my stepdad didn't do the nasty yet, but this night I was gonna make sure it happened. Cause I seen my stepdad kiss my mom goodbye and I was pissed. Once she left, I turned it up. Part 2 on how me and my stepdad were doing the nasty and my mom walked in on us. So like I said, my mom went to work and business started as usual. My stepdad was in the living room picking a movie, so I came down from my room and cuddled with him in the couch. We started making out and all of a sudden my mom was calling my stepdad's phone. He tried to answer, but I took his phone and put it on do not disturb mode. I wanted him all to myself. I got on top of him and things got real. All of a sudden we were both on the couch undressed going crazy. And just when we were about to start doing the nasty, my mom screamed, "Get off of her!" My stepdad and I both jumped up and I was shocked and terrified. He ran to my mom saying, "Please let me explain," and my mom slapped him. Part 3 on how me and my stepdad were doing the nasty and my mom walked in on us. So like I said, my mom slapped my stepdad and said, "Get out!" She slapped him so hard I felt it across the room. He begged her to talk to him, but once she called the cops, he left. My mom took my phone and seen all the messages between us and gave me the whooping of a lifetime. My mom disowned me and kicked me out. I'm talking homeless. I had to live with one of my friends. I tried to talk to my stepdad, but he was too busy trying to get back with my mom. He actually wanted nothing to do with me either. I lost all of my family and even a good portion of my friends. A year later, which is now currently, I still have no contact with anyone in my family. But I'm working on apologizing and making it up to my mom. Wish me luck.
I said I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm actually gonna do it. I'm gonna expose my weird ass family on my dad's side. So for Thanksgiving, I went home for 4 days. I'm in the military, so I don't get to go home that often. So I went home, I took my boyfriend and I took my 2 friends. So when we were there, the party was in the back of the house. You know, everybody's having fun, everybody's drinking, and I drank 2 beers. And that got me pretty buzzed because I do not drink like that. So I ended up noticing that my little brother wasn't there, so me, my boyfriend, and my dad went to go pick up my little brother from my house and take him to the party. My brother was high, and I was drunk. My boyfriend was sober, and so was my dad. So we get to the house. Mind you, everyone is in the back of the house, partying it up. And I noticed that my cousin was in the front of the house. My cousin who had been drinking since 12 in the afternoon, and it was already 4, and he hadn't eaten anything. So my dad, my brother, and my boyfriend go to the back of the house where the party's at, and I stay in the front to check on my cousin. My cousin Andrew was in the front, and I asked him, "Hey, like, are you okay? Do you want to eat something?" And he's like, "Oh my god, that is so nice of you." And my cousin was like, "No, I'm okay. I actually am fine. Thank you for checking up on me. I'm just gonna stay out here because I'm throwing up." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I was like, "All right, no problem. I'm gonna go back to the party." So he's like, "Oh, thank you." He's like, "You're like the best cousin ever." And he goes and hugs me, and I hug him back. You know, that's my cousin. And as I'm hugging him, I notice that he grips my ass with both hands. And then I was like shook, like, excuse me? Like, you did not just do that. And I didn't know what to say because he's drunk, but at the same time, like, I'm buzzed, but I'm not incoherent. Like, I understand what the fuck just happened. So I was shocked, and I just, like, kind of pushed him off me, and I went inside the house. And you know, there's always a room with like all the cousins. So I went to the room, and there was 2 cousins in there. It was Vanessa and Laura. I'm making up names because I don't want to expose my family. So it was Vanessa and Laura in the room, and I told Vanessa what had happened, and Laura is 12 years old, and Laura started getting like all teary-eyed. So I noticed that Laura started crying, and I asked her like, are you okay? What's wrong? And she said, well, he just did the same thing to me. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, 30 minutes ago, he grabbed on my boobs and he grabbed down there. And I was pissed. I wasn't even upset anymore. I was pissed because Laura is 12 years old, and Andrew is 26. So I was so pissed. So I got up and I went outside and I told my little brother. My little brother was high. I told him because he was the first person I saw, and he was like, huh? After I told him, and I was like, oh my god, I cannot talk to you right now. I'm getting more frustrated. So I go into my mom, and the music's loud, so I'm kind of screaming at her, and then out of nowhere the music starts turning down. Everybody starts looking at me, but I did not notice. So I was still screaming at my mom like, this and this just happened. And he touched Laura on her things and down there, you know. And then my dad got up and he got in my face and said, calm down, you're making a scene. I did not know that Laura's dad was sitting right next to Andrew. So Laura's dad took Andrew and took him to the front of the house, and I was mad because everybody was trying to calm me down. I said, f this family, you guys are weirdos, and I was trying to leave, and my mom was grabbing on. So as I'm leaving, I go back into the house. You know, I have to go through the house to go back to the front. So I noticed that Laura was inside and she was crying, and I felt so bad, but at the same time, it's like someone needed to say something, because that's not the first time that happened in my dad's side of the family. They're weird. They're disgusting, they're perverts, and they're pedophiles. Yeah. So her grandma, Laura's grandma, which is also her uncle's mom. Yeah, I'm sorry if that's a little confusing, but hopefully you're following. So she was like, what's going on? Like, what happened? And I told her, and she made a face like she didn't believe me. And I was like, he just did this to your granddaughter. And I grabbed on her boobs and I grabbed down there. And I was like, he just did that. How do you feel about that? And she kind of just snapped, and she's like, oh, no. So she went outside, and I go outside because I want to leave her, you know. I'm just over it. My boyfriend and all my friends are starting to come to the front, and then I noticed that Laura's dad and Andrew are like getting down now, like they're like choking each other, they're getting mad, they're fighting with each other, and I started getting pissed. So I started getting mad that they were fighting, because I was like, I want to do that, like I want to hit him, because I feel like no one's defending me. My dad didn't give my mom was like being irrational, saying she didn't want to go to jail. No one's gonna call the cops on you at a family party. So I was just so pissed. So I go and I try to fight him, and my boyfriend grabs me. He like holds me back, and then my mom starts grabbing on me, and everybody starts grabbing on me, and they're pushing me in between a wall and a car. So I started gripping on the window of the car, the side mirror. I was grabbing on that, and then I was also pushing myself on the wall, and I was just trying to like get them off me and get to him. I was just so mad at Andrew that I wanted to do something. I didn't notice, but I was elbowing my boyfriend the whole time, and I didn't notice until after the fact, like when we finally left the party. Anyway, so I just get mad, and next thing you know, I realized that my so then I couldn't get to him, so I ended up actually screaming at my dad and like cursing at him, which I never cursed at my parents. I've never screamed at them. I've never raised my voice, but I was just so upset that has happened so many times that they have never done anything. So, you know, I have right. So basically they start getting down. I'm still like fighting my way to there, and like after like 3 failed attempts, because the first time my boyfriend and my mom grabbed me, the second time my dad grabbed me, he pulled me by the hair, and he was like trying to shake me. He was like, you need to calm the down. And the third time when I tried to run to him, my aunt tackled me and put me in a chair, and she was straddling me while she was choking me and screaming in my face. So I was like, you know what, A for effort, I tried, but I'm gonna get the out of here now. So I got in the car. My mom was trying to take me home. It was me, my boyfriend, my little brother, my mom, and my little brother. So we were all in the car, and I just started screaming at my mom. I was like, bro, this family's like such like you guys are fucking weirdos. I cannot stand you. You guys are fake as blah 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 blah. And I started going off on her, and so I pack up all my things for my mom's house. So does my boyfriend and my friends. They meet us there. Then me and my friends and my boyfriend, we all drive to another hotel, and we leave. And I just told my mom, like, I don't want to ever to you guys. I don't want to talk to you guys. This family's weird. I don't know how the put up with it. I don't know how you didn't defend me. I was just so aggravated with the whole situation. So I left, and then the next day I went over to my cousin's house, who was Vanessa and Laura. They were there, and I talked to Vanessa about it, and Vanessa's mom, as she is, Vanessa's mom, Emily was like, you were drunk, so it was your fault. And I was like, No. That's not what we're gonna do. We're not gonna teach these girls that because you get drunk or because you dressed inappropriately or this and that. Like, those aren't factors into them grabbing on us or them being pedophiles and weirdos with us. Like, that's not what we're gonna do. So I just looked at Laura and I made sure she was okay, but they were just like over it. Like, they didn't even acknowledge that it happened. They were like giggling about it. Like, haha, do you want to go to the beach? What?
Story time, I had to go to jail because of my toxic ex-boyfriend. So a little background information. Him and I started dating right after high school. And this relationship was so f***ing toxic. We would literally fight over the dumbest shit. So fast forward 4 years later, the one night he had his friends over and he wanted me to cook steak. I decided to cook chicken instead. And this is what triggered the entire f***ing fight. He was saying things like, you never listen to what I say, you can't turn into a housewife type of shit. So he pretty much blew up and was like trying to kick me out of our house. He went to our master bedroom, started breaking all my throwing it down the stairs, and his friends left me there with his crazy ass. So I tried to get him to stop, but he wouldn't, of course. So then he ended up calling his sister, who is 10 years older than me, trying to get her to come to my house and kick my ass. I never really got in a fight like this, so I decided to call 911. She heard him in the background going crazy. Part 2 of why I had to go to jail because of my toxic ex-boyfriend. So like I said, the dispatcher on the phone could hear him in the background going absolutely psycho. So she told me to hide. I ran upstairs into the master bedroom and locked the door until they came. So they interviewed us separately, and he has the nerve to start crying, saying that I was beating his ass, and he even scratched himself. So even though I called 911, they said in a domestic dispute they had to take somebody to jail. And since he had visible marks on him, they took me to jail. So the police officer told me to take off all my clothes and to only wear one layer and to also take out my shoelaces before he brought me in. So they booked me in jail, put me in a freezing cold cell with 25 other actual bad bitches for 7 hours. And this is the best part. My ex kept trying to call and get me out the whole time I was in there, saying that he lied and everything. They set a court date for me, but when I showed up, they literally just dropped all the charges. Now I just tell everybody that I've been to jail and I'm not scared to go back.